Watch this, I'm going to be a gentleman.
It's Gigi's turn.
Thank you. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Before we start, though, Bill, you worked with me many times. Gigi hasn't. Now, you guys up in Philly, I don't know if you catch the Angrygeeks. I don't know if we air up here. We do air on Roku and Amazon, but we run panels a little bit different, okay? So we have rules. But our rules...
Rules?
Yes.
Boo!
But you guys set the rules. So is there anything
Yay!
There you go.
Do you guys have any questions that you're tired of answering, can't answer, don't want to answer, or just are just like, nah, let the audience know now?
Oh, not at all. We love them all, don't we?
It's open book, but if we close it quick, you'll know why.
I love you, Bill.
Yeah, we all do. We all love Bill. Bill's been around for, what?
Let's
Since the
probably
Raptors?
AD.
That's what I was going at. So what was the first project you guys worked on? I mean, we've been to a lot of cons, all three of us together.
Mm-hmm.
Bill, like I said, you and I worked many times, and many times you've been, on the mic with me.
Yep.
You and I never worked together, but we always seen each other.
Yeah.
What was the first project you guys actually worked together on?
We're in the same universe. So we work with the Hensons. Our connections is the Jim Henson Company.
Yep.
And we pretty much, we're Comic-Con brother and sister, really, aren't we? And
We've been doing this
a
for
lot.
a long time. Well, a good amount. You're much younger.
I'll take it.
But a good amount of time. So we've done a lot of these together and shared a lot of stories and fun and movies and friends that we have and all kinds of stuff. So and stuff that we've done, which we're always on the same lanes.
Yeah.
All the time. And we get a chance to talk a lot when we're not doing it.
Yeah, and it's very special. Like the Comic-Con world is something that's quite magical, for us. It's a chance for us to give back to people that have supported our journey and our dreams. It's an amazing community, isn't it? It's a big
Right. Well,
family.
it would be nothing if it wasn't for the fans.
Yeah.
So, and it's the fact that they like the work and they enjoy the art and they enjoy the creativity of when we're up there doing something.
Yeah.
It's so nice to see those smiles and see everything they do.
And it's interesting because, we do, I do a lot of, content that's not sci-fi, but they don't have conventions for that. So it's interesting, like, doctors and nurses and cops and robbers and lawyers and stuff, very mainstream dramas and comedy. And it's not like you consider the Comic-Con for any of those shows. It's awesome that, the world of sci-fi and pop culture has connected us all together. And, personally for a show like Farscape, I think it's coming on 25 years now.
Mm-hmm.
So to realise that it's reached it's literally travelled me around the world, I can't even count how many times, and introduced me
Plus
to
streaming.
so many.
Yeah, plus streaming.
Yeah, and introduced me to so many people along the way, and it's amazing how many people it's reached. So it's very special.
All right, so let me ask you this first question, because Bill, I already asked you this question, and of course for new audience members. What was it like the first time you did come to a Comic-Con and a fan came up to you cosplaying as one of your characters?
Oh, just mind-blowing, because I know how much time it takes to put everything together. Like, we had a crew of hundreds to make that one character. Like in every episode, it's the prosthetics, the creatures, the animatronics, the makeup, or the crew that actually come, the camera crew. Like, it's huge, right? So So when I did the audition for Chiana, originally I was told later that she was meant to be, her look was actually, they used it later for Sokozu in Peacekeeper Wars. Chiana's original look was meant to be like the orange with the mohawk and everything that Sokozu looked like. And the makeup artist, Leslie Vanderbolt, saw my face in the audition and she goes, oh, that look's not going to work on that actress's face. So they designed Chiana's makeup from my audition. So she was meant to look like a black and white photo. So I know, and then the first makeup test was like 5.5 hours long, and there was like at least 5 or 6 makeup tests just to get that look right. And they combined the Creature Shop at first. They gave me false teeth, but you can actually see the makeup tests on YouTube still, but they made me look kind of like a rodent, and I kept dribbling. And I had a lisp, so they lost the teeth, because she was still meant to be, look kind of saucy. Is that me?
Tom,
I'm vibrating.
Production, we're getting some feedback. Thank you.
So, so when someone walks up at a convention, it's you can't really get a better compliment than that. It's pretty special. So,
all right. Tom, for our new audience members, what was it first like, Bill, when someone came up with their own puppet for you? Say, hey, I built this because you inspired me, so I built this. What do you think? What was the first time that happened?
It's amazing to see that, the characters you've done over the years, or you've performed for other people. I mostly get to really see it when they bring like Audrey too, or anything to do with Little Shop. It's a lot of fun. It's quite an impact, to face the Wonder Woman, because it's so taken. I just had a fan that was here, and he started reciting the lines to me from the movie.
Wow.
And I said, well, you're going to shed a little blood on this one, aren't you? You want to go in for a photo? And it's great just to see the excitement, which is, we've all probably at one time in our lives went to something that we got extremely excited to do or see, or your first time you were on a movie set, or the first time you met that one person or whatever. And so we've all experienced, but to see it happen with you as ourselves, it's quite amazing that you've touched them in such a way, or the material has touched them in such a way that they're going home with that memory. And it should be we want to create an experience for them, and we want them to enjoy, because that's what they love about it. So it's we feel that if we could give them that back, the experience they bring to us of the love for what we have done or we've been involved with, and to see them go home with that, or get a chance to get to the next character, or stand next to Gigi or whatever, that is, that's breathtaking. You can never replace that. It's a magical thing.
All right, for the new audience members, how many Emmys have you won? I lost count.
I have 3.
You have 3.
Wow.
You have 3. I thought there was more. I walk by your table, I see a whole bunch of them.
Well, I have Tellys and other awards.
All right, so how many awards were there?
Total?
Yeah, total. So you have 3 Emmys.
I don't bring them all out. I have over 15.
That's what I thought, because I
use
walked.
them as doorstops and stuff.
No, not those. Just there are 1 or 2. Actually, that's a very funny story, because when Boris Karloff, who played the Grinch, and did the voice for the Grinch, got his first award for it. He got the music award for it. Grammy, and he says, "Oh, just another doorstop for me." And he actually did put it at his door.
That's amazing.
No, he did not. Really?
Huh? Oh, yeah.
He really did?
He really did. Yeah.
All right, before I could talk forever, do we have any audience questions? Anyone? Question? Anyone? Anyone in the back? Not yet? Okay. Going to put Emily out of work.
Yeah.
What was your first time you got behind in front of a camera and they said, okay, we're going to put this makeup on you? Did you send a picture to a family member and say, look what I'm doing? And what was their reaction?
No, I didn't.
No, you didn't.
Because we didn't have phones with cameras on them.
Really?
Remember?
Well, yeah, but
that's dating it a bit, isn't it? We didn't. I mean, it was, and and we didn't have a way to send them, because remember, we didn't have emails barely. I remember emails came in around Farscape days, because there was a very flamboyant assistant director that would go, Gigi L'Amour, come to set. So I've used a portion of that to create my email, and there's a little bit of inside information. It's still my email today. So I remember also chat rooms and stuff. And
okay, so what was a family's a certain or whoever family member, friend? What was their reaction to see you? in makeup?
It wasn't shown in Australia, so they didn't see it. I had to go and buy my own action figure from the comic book store. So it was when I started, they were shooting The Matrix at the same time. So I would see Keanu, and I'd be dressed as Chiana, and I smoked cigarettes at the time. And I would wave at him and be like, oh, God, that's Keanu Reeves. And he'd always look at me so funny. I was like, why are they being so weird? And then I'd go back into my trailer and realise, oh, yeah, I look like an alien. He's like, what the hell is wrong with that creature? He keeps weirdly waving at me. But on the back lot, which is the public spot, there was different restaurants and a comic book store. And I walked in there and I said, this is me. And they're like, yeah, lady, $40 or however much it was. And I was like, no, I'm telling you. And it obviously doesn't look anything like me. And they're like, yeah. So what did they see? I got to bring some of them to set, and that was pretty special. But also set can be a pretty slow thing if you don't really know the biz, right? So they're expecting bells and whistles, and it is mind-blowing, but then also it's a long day. So yeah, but when I first when back to the chat room thing, I remember because I was actually only ever cast for one episode, and then they kept liking the character, so they kept inviting me back for a bit more and more. So Ben, I was about to call him Crichton, Ben came up to me and he goes, oh, if you want to check out the chat room, it's pretty crazy. I'm like, what are you talking about? Because you go online here and all the fans, they talk about the show while they watch the episode or whenever. I was like, yeah, whatever. Because I'd never heard, even in Australia, if you mentioned the word fan back then, it just wasn't, it's a much more American thing, because everything's, in Australia it's very, I don't know, they call it the tall poppy syndrome.
You say fan there, they'll bring you one.
Exactly.
All right, so
yeah, totally. So anyway, I got online, and that was the first time I saw the love from the public, just for the show, and how invested they were, and they all had code names, and they all had, and I watched it when I was on there when my episode aired, and they're like, oh my God, look at this Frellin Trauk. If she gets in between Erin and Crichton, I'll bring out my pulse pistol. I was like, oh! Like, they are in. And it's great. That was the first time. And then you'd get fan mail, and that was a trip. So I would write back to every piece that I'd get, and then it just got so overwhelming. I'm like, I can't do it.
See, I'm intrigued now. What do they call fans in Australia?
Well, it just wasn't really a thing back then, because we didn't really have a lot of sci-fi. We're pretty, back then, 25 years ago, it was pretty, we have 4 channels. Don't we? We didn't even have Foxtel or any of that stuff, Now it's a different world.
I'm like baffled by that.
Right?
Again, guys in the audience, anyone back there, anywhere, if you have a question, just raise your hand and Emily will come to you. So please, make Emily work.
You guys are tiring me out here. Oh, my word.
And part of it is that, when you work on a film, I just came off a movie.
What movie? Can you talk?
Yeah, Tuesday Flew with Dan Roebuck is the director.
All right.
So, people say, oh, when's the movie come out? I don't know, we just got off principal photography, did 30 days, and intensive days, and then we won't see the movie or a premiere until about a year and a half from now, and it'll be like hundreds of projects be gone, and we're like, oh, yeah, we did that film. When did we shoot that? It is, because by the time you make it. By the time we see it, or people talk about it, that was like a long time ago.
Yeah. And then so when you shoot an episode of something, you often shoot, if it's a long-term series, you shoot 2 or 3 episodes at the same time, because you use the one location, from those couple of episodes, you shoot it all out in, a couple of weeks or whatever, and then you could move on to the next location. And then you could be doing dubbing over or pre or post for other stuff as well. So you'll everything, it doesn't run in a nice, neat order. And then you've also got the editing, so sometimes stuff doesn't make it, or more stuff gets put in. So
or they want to come back, and shoot something out, a reshoot, or a green screen thing that you couldn't do green screen, you blew.
Yeah, I would just fade into the thing. So I'm just like these
blue screen you stayed away from.
Blinking eyes. But yeah, I'm just always blown away when I'm on a set. I love every piece of it, right? from the unit truck drivers to the, I would, at lunchtimes, I would sit in the creature shop, I'd take my plate, and I'd just sit there and look at all the stuff. Because, like, I grew up with The Dark Crystal and with Labyrinth. They were my 2 all-time favourite films. So being part of that world, that universe every day, like, even if I had one scene on that set, I would have been over the moon, let alone over 5 years.
Yeah, and, you know, actors would come and go. I mean, film I did was with Ross from Walking Dead, and he was bouncing, just came off doing Red Skull. And he comes on set, so he was there for all 30 days. But like Tony Todd would walk in for 3 days. We'd do this 3-day thing, and then he's gone.
Wow.
So we would say, okay, bye, everybody. And you get 2 days here, you get 3 days here, or we're actually on. I was there for all 30, but, you know, it's different because it goes from night to day. It depends on your role in the film.
All right. Bill, Gigi brought up a good point. She had to go out and buy her own action figure. How much merchandise do you have of your creations?
I own all of them.
Really?
Yeah, even the sets we just did for Tuesday Flu. It's
No,
part of our
not the sets.
Oh, the characters? Yes.
Yeah, no. Action figure. Do you go to a toy store?
No.
You don't?
No.
You don't?
No.
'Cause some of them are like the Fraggle Rock stuff. That's
Yeah, I mean, I'll go to them if they bring me to one.
oh,
You know, matter of fact, I was just one with Dan Roebuck, and his uncle, Grandpa Munster, just came out
yeah.
from doing Rod Zombie's version, and we went to the store just to see him get his own figure, and I'm like, they didn't send it to you? What's the deal?
Oh, yeah. And I totally lied when they called me up for measurements. I was like, they're like, and so what's your cup size and your chest size? And I was like, I have to figure out, and we didn't have Google back then either, so I'm like, who's got a big chest that I can copy for Tiana's doll? And she's got this great 6-pack. I was like, I look great. It's so funny.
Just imagine, I mean, your stuff is like very collectible right now. Has anyone brought your action figure to be autographed yet?
Many times. There's all sorts of merchandise out there. Some stuff still comes up to me, and, you know, people bring merchandise up and I haven't seen it. There's beautiful, books, and there's, I think they brought out a record as well with the soundtrack. That was a limited edition as well for the 20th anniversary, and it's pretty cool. There's a Farscape video game that I tried to play, but I'm a terrible gamer. But it's pretty mind-blowing, the stuff that's out there, for sure.
How far did you get in the game?
Not very far. I kept just walking into rocks.
It was
saying, throw you, throw you, throw you.
What would you rather be a part of, drama or science fiction?
Anything with a good script. I just love it. I love making my own productions. In the lockdown, I made 2 music videos to some of my original music. I always make sure it's like a performance piece. It's not just, I want people to know I'm passionate about my work and that literally blood, sweat and tears do go into it. So the very first music video, we shot it underwater, so I trained up for about 3 months. My little daughter, first name Sky, middle name Walker, I would put floaties on her and she would float on top of on the surface, and I would go down and practice the moves and holding my breath and to train my lungs to get strong for it. And then it was all about finding love and light in darkness, because I wanted to put some good energy back into the world when we were all going through this crazy time. And you could only use a certain amount of crew members and stuff as well. So I was like, well, underwater, I mean, you can't catch anything there, can you? So that's why we did it. And it was this character falls into a dark abyss, and then as the song goes on, this UV light, creeps over her whole body, and in the end, she's a glowing avatar. So it's all about self-love, finding the love out there and sharing it, And then the second one we did, I trained up on aerial silks for 3 months. I don't recommend it. It's very painful and dangerous and imminent death at all turns. But for some reason, I thought that was a great idea, coming out of quarantine and a baby, all that sort of stuff. I'm like,
Bill, you do that, right?
Right, you do silks as well?
Yeah. when I'm in like Joanne Fabric.
Just sashaying around. And again, it was all, this song was more about using, uncertainty and channeling it into being a warrior, and that we're all in this together, all have a fierce love, and we need to help each other through crazy times, channel the negativity into something positive. And it was called Dragon in My Soul. So that, again, was quite the journey to go through that. So I just love creating content. I don't think we sit still very often, do we?
No, this is about it.
Before we get to Bill's next question, are these songs released anywhere?
Yes.
Can they buy them?
They're all on my website, the music videos, and there's links to all my social media and all that. And that's my name, which is gigiedgley.com.
It's great. I've seen them all. They're wonderful.
Well, I should hope so.
They're not on Spotify or?
Yeah, they're all there as well. On Spotify, iTunes, Apple, Fla, they're everywhere.
All right. Once again, remember, if you have a question, guys, raise your hands. What's your next project?
My next one?
Yeah.
Well, I'm working on the Basil Gogos documentary right now. If you don't know Basil Gogos, if you go by the booth, you'll see all that wonderful monster art.
Mm-hmm.
Basil was an icon in this industry. He was one of the first painters that did all the monsters from Universal in color. And growing up, all the people that wanted to know about the makeup artists and all that other stuff were created, like Rick Baker and many other people, would buy these magazines. That was like our way of, you didn't have the internet or could find out about these people, so it was Famous Monsters that did it. Fortunately, I got to know Basil for 40 years and was at one of the first Famous Monster conventions in 1974 with him, with Peter Cushing. And we became good friends all these years, and he had passed away in 2019, and then his wife, she started the book, and I started the documentary, and trying to collect Basil's work to put it together for the documentary, and then she passed away last year.
Ooh.
And they left a legacy of him to me. So I have this whole body of this man's work at our studios that we're trying to piece it together, and one of the notes were to bring it back to the fans. So we're selling it all off. Some is worth a lot of money, some is anybody can bring a piece home, and he signed, and Bela Lugosi Jr. and that. And the funds are going to the Witch's Dungeon Movie Museum, as well as the documentary, and the Witches started up again, and everything.
Now, that was a good segue. I guess that was my next question for you. Witch's Dungeon Museum is in Waterbury?
No, it's in Plainville, Connecticut.
Plainville, Connecticut, not Waterbury, Connecticut. So it's quite a hike for anyone here in Philadelphia. But I recommend it. It's definitely Angrygeeks approved. It's an amazing place. You want to talk a little bit about that?
It's been around this is the 58th year. Cortlandt Hall started it when he was 13. Cortlandt is the nephew to the actor Henry Hull and Josephine Hull. Henry Hull was the first werewolf of London in 1935, the first wolf man that was ever on the film before Chaney. He also was in 70 other movies, which he always joked with Cortlandt about when Cortlandt would say, "Tell me more about the movie you were in," and he says, "I made 70 others," But his aunt was Josephine Hull, who was in the movie Harvey with Jimmy Stewart, played the sister, and Arsenic and Old Lace on stage and in the film. So he's got a background, and he was just a big little movie collector where big movies were being turned into big figures way before anyone was doing it. And I'm the president of the museum, and I've taken over the museum for Cortlandt. And a lot of the things that we do, specialty projects, History of Phantom or whatever, when I'm not shooting another film, I'm bringing these things to the museum outside of what we tour with. Like E.T., if you ever saw us with E.T., that's the real one. We'll be bringing The Exorcist head out, which was only 2, and Indiana Jones this year, and some stuff from Star Wars, which have been part of the museum, which Vincent Price and Roddy McDowell were very much a part of.
Out of all your projects, Which is your favorite?
Whatever I'm working on at the point, they're all been my favorites. So I love them all, and some are long, some but I'm amazed how the resilience, and it's always nice to be able to, the people I worked with, whether it was Jim Henson or Basil Gogos, they've all been a part of my career, and I've been something with them, and so it's nice to carry all their work and be a little part of that to the fans today.
Okay. Gigi, if you could be any creature, or Bill comes up to you.
Tinkerbell.
She said that quick.
No, it has to be. No, that has no makeup, no design.
She
no.
can fly.
Oh,
She
come
has
on.
wings.
Yeah,
That was a
but-
good answer.
No, you be quiet. Do your job.
Tinkerbell, always a fairy
Okay,
of some sort.
besides.
Or a mermaid.
There you go.
Anything that can fly
Anything that can fly.
or has a tail.
All right, have you ever designed a character?
So with the music videos, I turned myself into a dragon, and then the other one was an underwater avatar. So yeah.
How long did it take you to design it? And then who built the design for you?
I found a makeup artist who painted me, so there was pretty much not any clothing, it was all just body paint. So I guess I took that from Farscape, where I like to get painted because I like it on your skin, so you are the creature.
Why don't you, after you answer that, why don't you tell the audience what you said to me when I came down to the table?
Oh.
You said no?
No.
I said, I will not marry you.
No.
Stop asking me. I mean, it's getting out of control.
That's not what she said. She actually said yes. What did you say when I said about rules?
Don't know.
No, she's not going to say
no
it.
comment.
Continue about the body paint.
So Lana
You're blushing.
Chromium is a amazing makeup artist. You should look her up online. And she was on Skin Wars. And her work is just beautiful. So we just sort of created it together with Cyril Bebe, and she did the face. And we had like one sort of, I just said I want it for the dragon one. I would send her like references, like I wanted to be like we call them Christmas beetles. I don't know what you guys call them, but it's like that green emerald iridescent, like a dragonfly. Wanted to have that kind of look, and then for the avatar it was all like blues and underwater and with some colours that would pop under there as well.
How long did that take?
The underwater one was very tricky because we had to keep getting in and out of the pool because it had to look like it was growing. So we did that over 2 nights from 4 p.m. to 4 a.m. and it was very cold because you just get out of the pool and dry down, and then they spray, cold paint on you, and then you wait for it to dry, and then you get in the pool and it's like and then you got to look all ethereal and relaxed, and I'm like, come on, you can do it, just act.
Bill, let's get back to the Emmys. When you won your first one, what was going through your mind?
I thought I was delivering it to somebody else. No, when they called me up, there was no way I even thought that, they had me there. It was like just as a support thing, and I'm like, didn't have any idea that it was.
And the second? Ain't nothing but a thing. Ain't nothing but a thing. I'll just go up and get it.
Actually,
Or was that the third?
I actually wasn't there when they
You
called
weren't
the
there?
second. No, I was at a Comic-Con.
Oh, you're
And-
probably hanging out with me.
Yeah, I was at a Comic-Con, and I know I was up for one because I had. They told us we're up for one, but for some reason my schedule and the contract I was in, I couldn't go, and that happens now and then. And they at the Comic-Con they announced the overhead. They just said I won. I
think it was one of the ARE events. I think I remember.
And they said, Bill Diamond, you just won an Emmy.
Wow, that's amazing.
Just saying, and then I was like, okay, where is it?
Lewis, go get me my Emmy.
Yeah, and then the third one was third one it was during 2020, and you couldn't go there, so it was all done. The announcer was in Times Square, and I still have it on. It plays on our line where he calls out and he says, you know, it's this one, this one, this one, and the winner is, and he opened it up because you couldn't go to them.
Oh,
'Cause
gosh.
it was during the pandemic, and you couldn't go, and then he said, the winner is Bill Diamond, and I'm like, oh, I don't even have to be at that one either.
When you are filming, okay, this is for Gigi right now. When you're filming, do you go through any special preparation? Do you listen to a playlist? Do you do any kind of mantra?
Oh, always. Like it's the
Ooh.
best. It's the best. It's the best feeling in the world because you get to play. You learn a lot about all different walks of life, from aliens to the girl next door to I played a girl with cerebral palsy, spina bifida, a junkie, a whore. You know, the goody two shoes girl to the leader of the high school, to like lawyers, homicide detectives, rescue paramedics, and every time you get on a job, you can like fully investigate that way of life as you would with your productions and everything. You get to explore a whole a girl that was studying law, and I'm like, oh my God. So I actually contacted a university and said, can I sit in on 3 weeks of law classes? They're like, okay. I was like, great. And it was just mind-blowing to me. Like when I get a role, I really go hard, especially with the Chiana. I wanted to be an alien. I didn't want to be a human in alien makeup. I wanted to be a Jim Henson creature. And all of them are so unbelievably believable. You've never seen them before, but you know they exist in some universe. So playlists in university. Funny story, the actor Anthony Simcoe, who plays Dargo, was meant to be my acting teacher because I went and studied 3 years of acting. And he'd just left, and we had this crazy American method teacher, and he just taught us all about using real experiences in your life and bringing that. It wasn't acting. It was going into a place that had somehow, that you've connected with before in your real life, and reacting, and really being in that presence as opposed to putting on a character. You find it within yourself from some weird and interesting memory. So I know there are some actors that go hardcore. I'm not that hardcore where I'll stay in the accent the whole time or I'll slice my face, for real. I think Shia LaBeouf does something like that.
Like the last film.
Right, yeah.
The film
Which one was that one?
Horror
Oh, the
movie.
horror film. It's funny because, I went to do a horror film.
You sent me a picture, and I'm like, Bill, this is what I'm up to.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, this is what I'm up to. My face was all slashed up, but that wasn't for real. That was just a lot of, corn syrup and stuff.
I don't know, it wasn't pretty.
It was very sticky. I wasn't pretty. What?
Well, you were, but it was on the cutting edge.
It was very cutting edge, exactly. And I've never done horror because I'm all love and light. I like suspense and I like all that stuff, but I sort of shy away from that. But a friend was making it, and it was just a whole lot of fun. And I was like, you know what? Why not? So we did it. And as I was getting bludgeoned to death in the forest, I was like, oh, it's such a beautiful day. I really need to move back out to nature. Like this. I'm like, oh, I don't mind horror after all. And it gets a bit addictive, really, because you're like, oh, more blood, more bruises, more guts, more whatever.
All right, you weren't the victim that ran 3 steps, fell down, got up, ran 2 steps, fell down, got up.
Oh yeah,
No.
milk it. I milk that scene. I'm
That's
like,
so cliche.
oh, it's so good. No, you wait. But I think I worked it strongly enough that you'll be too sucked into what's going on and then seeing that whole process, because we literally, there's a girl fight at the end that goes on for way too long, like John Wick long.
Oh my God.
I'm like, how many stairs can this guy roll down? It just goes on and on and on, doesn't it? It's that, but it's two girls really just having at it in the forest. I think you'll dig it.
All right, can you say what the project's name is and when it's supposed to be released? Or
Called The Girl. The Girl. And then we had to do these weird opening credits. It was just green screen, and he's like, the director goes, just jump around and have fun. I'm like, my character is not jumping around having fun. This is a horror film. But it was meant to be like a quirky start to it. And I said, do you have anything that I can spin around? Because I do the fire spinning and stuff. If I have a prop, it helps, it helps you get into character and stuff. And they had a cane. So I used the cane to do some fire spinning moves, so then I could still be dancey and whatever, but it was a bit more like Clockwork Orange tough. So you're not quite sure if she's a baddie or a goodie, but she's got some fight in her. So yeah, so it should be coming out this year.
All right, so you would definitely do horror again.
Yeah, I love it.
All right. You, sir, you had a horror movie you were working on, or you just finished?
I finished one, and I'm working on a horror film now that we're just doing all the pre-production.
All right, and that one's based on a comic book from some.
No,
friends
actually,
of
it's
ours.
based on a 1956 film. She came from the sea. Oh, you're talking about Token Dead.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
yes.
some friends of ours.
Yes.
All right, when is that coming out? I've been following production online.
The Token or the other?
Yeah, the Token.
The Token is, well, we did episode 1, 2.
Yep.
Their book is just about ready to come out.
Yep.
And then we'll finish up 3.
Okay. All right, now let's talk about your horror.
That one's based on a 1956 movie, She Creature, which is called She Came Beneath the Sea. And it's something I wrote
You
a
should
long
be starring
time
in
ago.
that
I know. I was
I haven't casted
I
yet.
was sending him like thoughts. I was like, hello,
But
right here.
I have a lot of art.
I just did an underwater thing. I could hold my breath for ages.
I know. I was just like,
I have a diving bell from the last movie to
Right, you
use.
should see me when I get out of the shower. I look like a she creature. I would be perfect.
And a lot of people are doing little cameos in it. Horror, classic horror people. Sarah Carlow
Oh,
has
really?
done that, and Donnie
you
Duncan.
definitely got to be cast now.
And
Same.
I have Ron Cheney. A lot of the classic families are all been doing little cameos in the film. It's little Easter eggs of monster movies and people and Dan Roebuck racing. It's all that kind of little fun.
Nice.
It's
So
just a fun remake of a movie rewritten.
Okay. So what's the time frame on that?
It gets shot this year, later on this year, and going into next. If I don't get pulled away on another film.
What's the location? Connecticut?
It's actually all through the Hudson Valley. Some is shot a little in Florida and some in Connecticut.
Nice. Nice. See, there you go. You got to sign up.
Perfect.
What's your next project, Gigi?
So I've got.
Mine.
It's a film called She Creature. Next weekend I jump to Chattanooga, and then I go to Tidewater, and then I go to Germany.
Oh, I'll be at Tidewater.
You better be, because we've got to talk about my contract.
Okay.
And then Rochester after that, and then hopefully to Australia for a few weeks to shoot a feature film. They're just locking in the last of the financing.
Can you talk about that?
No, I can't. So,
See?
but I'm always on my social media posting ridiculous videos and pictures of my little girl and our monster dog. So if there's, as soon as I'm allowed to share officially, then I totally will.
All right. So what kind of merchandise do you have? Like, do you have T-shirts with your likeness on it, or do you have from Farscape? Do you see anything like that?
There is video games, there's glasses, there's books, there's records, there's action figures, there's bobbleheads. And then I get all these awesome gifts at conventions, but it's hard.
Wait, people bring you gifts?
Yes,
Really?
I've had pies and cakes and all sorts of craziness, and then I've even had I have this beautiful picture that someone drew.
Here you go. I give you.
Thank you. Yes, I'll need that when I wake up and I'm like, oh, thank God for my water. Someone in the UK had done this beautiful portrait, and it's amazing, but I'm like, how do I get this back? It's huge, like framed and the whole thing. And I can't really put it up in my house because I've only got a one-bedroom house. It would be a bit like, here I am. And all this Chiana merchandise. It's just like a shrine.
You go with the mural that's on outside your house. Saying,
Right,
"Here I am."
exactly. My life-size stuff bigger. So I don't know where to put all this stuff. I'm going to have to open up a Gigi museum.
Okay, I'll give you room in ours.
Bill, has anyone brought you anything?
Has brought me anything?
Yeah, to a con. Has anyone given you a gift?
Oh, yeah. People bring me puppets.
Am I the only one that comes to?
No,
What did
people have
give
brought
you?
me puppets that
Really?
they've made and wanted me to keep them.
And what do you
stuff
do
like
with
that.
them? Be honest.
We sometimes put them, if we do a monster TV or we do something that was made by a fan, we'll put it on set.
Really?
Yeah, we do.
What was the most interesting one that somebody gave you? See, you guys are all getting a brand new stuff from banter between Bella and I. This is
There's all kinds of different things. Grey Goose bottles, they bring me a lot. That's only because
that was me.
That's because I designed the Grey Goose bottle. So that's
Wow. I knew I recognized that bottle from somewhere.
But no, I get all kinds of stuff like that. Some because of the Token Dead, they'll bring me marijuana.
Oh my God.
You didn't hear that here. No.
They're like, here, I got a plant. Can it be at your show?
Do you want to explain the Token Dead and the?
Yeah, Token Dead is a Ben and Jeff. They
Guys, we're getting some feedback again.
They wrote a book about zombies eating marijuana. Matter of fact, Mike was here. He just floated off.
Yeah,
and it's a great little series. It's a series that they wrote about a dispensary, and there's an explosion and everything goes wrong, and it's really a fun-filled campy, which is what they want, a very fun-filled campy movie. It's like an 80s film, and we have a good time with it.
The makeup does look great. The zombies look fantastic.
We've made some puppet zombies out of it and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
they do. Are you in that one?
No.
Wow, some friend you are.
Seriously.
Wow,
Yeah.
either you need a better agent or a better friend.
Yeah.
Wow, I mean,
I just got to keep her out of other countries. If I can keep her in this one, then I can use her.
Yeah.
But every time I'm like, hey, Gigi, where are you? Oh, I'm going to the UK.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm in
thanks.
Germany. I'm getting bludgeoned to death in a forest in a Ohio. You're like, okay.
So that's not going to help me this week.
Get to. But we both have we're both in the vendors hall as well. So come over and chat and everything, and we've got lots of treats over at our booth. You can't miss your booth, which is amazing. Where's Pilot?
Pilot's not. I'll have him at the next one.
Oh, you keep telling me that. You're taunting me with your Pilot.
We built Pilot.
He's
for
amazing.
her because of her role in Farscape, and so she can take pictures of the fans of Pilot.
You're just luring me to your studio, aren't you?
That's right. You wanted a contract.
All right, I just got 5 minutes left.
Yeah.
Anybody have a question? This is your last chance. 5 minutes left, or I'm going to keep talking or let them banter.
Thank
Go
you
once,
so
go
much.
twice.
Thank you so much for coming, guys, and for supporting us. You guys rock.
Are you sure? Anybody? No? Okay, it's all me. You want to belt out a tune? You want to sing?
We're here. I'll see you guys over at the table, and we're here Saturday,
Wait
Sunday.
a minute. I just gave. Do you want to sing?
We're here. We're over at the vendors hall.